Guys, this is a lesson on World War One. We're looking at trench warfare, and we're looking at living in a trench. What was the life like for ordinary soldiers? Yeah? So we're going to learn about the life of a soldier, German, French, British, Russian, whatever, who was living in a trench. To understand how miserable this life was, and hopefully by doing that, you're developing some historical analysis skills. Lots of key words: damp, soaked, muddy, rot. Trench foot is a disease. Whale grease is exactly what it sounds like, the grease from a whale. Court-martial, if you get charged with an offence in the army, the court centre is called a court-martial. Another officer judges you. Instead of a judge, you've got an officer. Blighty is slang in the British Army for home, for Britain, England. Lice, a little insect. Flame, infest. If you get good insects, you're infested. Rations is food. Okay, so let's crack on, shall we? What was the biggest problem for the soldiers living in the trenches? The biggest problem is the water. Not the enemy, the water. Think about it. A trench is a hole in the ground. What happens if you dig a hole in the ground? It fills up with water. If it fills with water, and you've got to stay in it to protect yourself from bullets, the chances are your feet are going to get wet, which leads to two here. Trench foot. What was trench foot? That is trench foot. Trench foot was a condition caused by your feet being soaking wet for too long, days on end. If your feet get wet and stay wet for a couple of days, you'll get what's called trench foot. The water actually gets inside your skin. It makes the feet swell up. The swelling causes the blood supply to be cut off. And that made the feet go off and rot. We'll explain it more in class. So basically, your feet swell, the blood can't circulate, and then the flesh goes off. This person here, this has all gone dark because this has gone off. It's starting to rot. Yeah. The only way, once you've got this, the only thing to do is to cut your foot off. Weirdly, why did some soldiers want to catch it? Some soldiers wanted trench foot, because that meant, oh, I can't be in the army anymore, I can't fight you, you've got to send me home, send me back to Blighty. Now, what did the army do about all this? Yeah? First off, first couple of years of the war, whale grease. Hunted whales and used the blubber, the grease, gave it to the men in cans, said, you must rub this all over your feet every day, and that will waterproof your feet. Yeah? Probably more importantly, anybody who got trench foot, it was an offence to catch trench foot. You got a court-martial, sent to court, and if they thought you had got it on purpose in order to get out of fighting, they might execute you. Lice. Yeah. If you're stuck in a trench for days and days and days on end, you had all these little tiny little insects living on you called lice. And here you got pictures of soldiers cleaning their clothes, the Germans, they're cleaning the seams of their clothes, because that was where the lice really loved to live and eat, drink your blood and live off you. Yeah, so you got rid of them by cleaning. Rations, that means the food. Every day, in the British Army certainly, you got a little bit of rum. That was daily. You also got things like these, various sorts of biscuits and beans. And you might get, this might be what you got for a day or a couple of days. Yeah? Enough to live on. There was meant to be hot food, but the problem with hot food is it had to be carried to the front line. And if you carry food to the front line, you might get shot at. So if there's any fighting going on, there was no hot food. Yeah? You have to live on cold food. You only got hot food if there was no actual fighting going on and someone could bring it forward to you.